rebel religion and the news.
Well, Christianity was on full display Sunday in Glendale, Arizona for the memorial service for Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated back on September 10th in Utah. Good morning, everybody. I'm joined by Pastor Tim Rule of Pleasant Valley Baptist Church, and also Pastor Alfredo Romero, Rock of Life Fellowship, also the co-host. Hi, guys.
Hey,
Good morning. Good morning.
So I take it you watched clips? Did you watch all of it, most of it? What did you see?
I got home Sunday after our church services and had a few things to do and turned it on. So I saw, I think, most of it. I saw several of the speakers, and then, of course, Mrs. Kurtz, and then President Trump. So I believe I saw the vast majority of it, yes.
I guess there's a couple of major headlines. One of them was probably the biggest, is that Erica has announced forgiveness, the way that Jesus forgave those who killed him. And a lot of people who are not believers have a hard time understanding that. And quite frankly, people who are believers have a difficult time understanding that. It seemed like Christianity, in a good way, went into the deep end of the swimming pool to talk about real theology instead of just surface area theology. That's how I viewed the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. I was asked actually by somebody, I forget who it was, but just like merely like 2 days after the shooting, somebody asked me, do you think Erica, his wife, is going to forgive the shooter? And I said, well, at this point, she's in shock. She'll probably go through a little bit of anger, but knowing her walk with Jesus, she'll get there. Yes, she will. So what, a week and a half later, she's there. But yeah, I basically told this person, look, you've got to give her a little bit of time to let this soak in and let the Holy Spirit comfort her. But she will, like all Christians should, be able to get to forgiveness. But I definitely understand some of those people that are just still in that anger stage.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And one of the things, and this is a conversation I think a lot of Christians have, and one I still don't quite fully understand, is it Erica Kirk's place, I mean, to forgive if the killer has not sought forgiveness? In other words, does God forgive us if we don't come to him in repentance and sorrow and ask for forgiveness? Why would Erica take it upon? I'm just asking. I'm not criticizing. Please believe that. Why would Ms. Kirk take it upon herself to provide forgiveness when maybe God would not even provide forgiveness unless the assailant asked for forgiveness of God? Is it her place to be giving forgiveness?
Well, the entire Bible is a book about forgiveness, and from Genesis 1 all the way to Revelation. And I think just to answer that question, one of the greatest truths of the Bible, and we would call it the prodigal son. And that prodigal son left his father, left his family, squandered his life. But there's an interesting fact that when the prodigal son came back, but the father greeted him, had a ring for him. That means I can do family business. Had shoes. That means you can live in this home. Had a robe. That means you're part of the family. But he also had a fatted calf. Now, there's something very significant about that. Not just a calf, but a fatted calf. And that fatted calf, I think his dad put away the day his son left and said, one day my son's going to come home. So I always say this, a lot of churches, a lot of people have a lot of lean calves. They're not ready to forgive yet. And so a lot of people say this, I know what you did, but just leave me alone for a while, things like that. I'll get there. Well, Jesus Christ was the epitome of forgiveness. And Jesus Christ had already in his heart knew, I am going to forgive mankind. So God has already provided our forgiveness. All we have to do is ask. So it's not like they ask and God will have to decide whether I'll forgive them. It's already decided.
But shouldn't Erica have waited for the assailant to seek forgiveness? That like God waits for us to seek him and ask for forgiveness as well. I struggle with that a lot because I keep wondering, why would I forgive somebody who's not even sorry that they did what they did?
Yeah, well, Jesus on the
Because God
cross.
doesn't do that, does he?
Yeah, well, Jesus on the cross, what did he say? Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And so people didn't ask for forgiveness, the ones that were nailed to the cross. He just said, forgive them. Now,
But they really didn't know what they were doing. They didn't realize he was the Son of God, and because my understanding is the Romans were doing what they were ordered to do by their leaders, and they did not understand that he was the Son of God, and they thought they were basically doing what they were supposed to do because that was their job. I'm wondering, would he have given the same type of forgiveness for the Pharisees or those who realized he was the Son of God? I mean, when he says forgive them, who is the them?
Well, that's a good point. And I truly believe he spoke to everybody there.
Yes.
And so, yes, the Roman soldiers, because you're under rule to do this. Pharisees, you are so blind yourself, you have no idea what you're really doing. Here you are, a religious leader. I'm God, and you don't even recognize who I am. Mm-hmm. And God was saying to himself, he does something, how blind they can become. And so would you say maybe Erica should have waited, not that you suggest that, but Erica maybe should have waited for the assailant to come to her? Okay, I would say for the vast majority of all the entire world, number one, people are not going to see forgiveness. Number two, the ones they do only ask for forgiveness because they got caught. Mm-hmm. Number three, there are some that have a remorse spirit and they say, I really am sorry. But number four, let's say to the graduate level, it's the one who has been violated to say, I already forgive you. Mm-hmm. So what a picture of who Christ really is. I think Erica took that stand, even though he has not asked for forgiveness and may never ask for forgiveness. Mm-hmm. But in her heart, to live with herself, it's okay. It's okay. I can live with that.
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah. I don't know how many people could do that.
She did.
She did. She's an amazing woman.
Wait, but I keep remembering the young man that went to court because a police officer off duty came home, went to the wrong apartment, shot the resident, who happened to be this young man's brother. And at the court, if you guys saw this, he, from the witness stand, he said, I just want you to know I forgive you. I love you. And he's talking about his faith. And then he asked the judge, can I hug her?
Wow.
And the judge let him, and everybody was crying. The judge is crying, everybody's crying. So the young man who hugged this off-duty police officer accidentally shot his brother. They're hugging, and they're both crying, and he's saying, I forgive you.
Yeah, amazing.
It's amazing.
Let's talk briefly about President Trump. He made some very interesting comments, profound comments. One that stands out. The gun was pointed at him, Charlie Kirk, but the bullet was aimed at all of us.
That's a great statement.
Yeah.
Sure there was.
It was. And it's because this is my understanding, okay? You may not agree, but it's like the young man that did the shooting represented a large group of people.
Sure.
Okay? And Charlie Kirk represented a large group of people.
Correct.
So it was kind of a bigger than just I'm mad at him for something.
Yep.
It's what Charlie Kirk stood for, and what the young man stood for.
Trump also told the packed State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, blasted what he called, quote, the radical left for the violence across the country. Unlike Kirk, Trump said he did not wish his enemies well, although he suggested Erica Kirk might be able to help him overcome his vindictiveness.
That's a big statement.
And here's what Trump also said. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponents, and I don't want the best for them. That's what President Trump said, and I thought that was very interesting.
Well, we just found out that Erica Kirk was a better Christian than Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And but I understand that too. He takes a whole platform there, and I think we have to understand something. I can forgive someone, and genuinely, I mean that sincerely, but they will still suffer their recompense.
Well, that's what I want to ask
So
you.
we can't miss that, okay? This man, This man deserves the death penalty, and in our country, ought to become very quickly again. I mean, his dad said he confessed it. He confessed it to his dad. They found the gun. They know who did it, and so to have justice, then the discipline and the punishment ought to come.
Here's I love this statement. Somebody had posted this, and I don't know where it came from, but you tell me if you agree with it. It said, "It is the widow's duty to embody forgiveness. It is the ruler's duty to embody wrath." Do you agree with that?
Wrath for
to
carry out justice.
Well, the ruler, I presume, being Donald Trump, the president. interesting. I'm wondering if it's true. Is it the ruler's duty to embody wrath?
Well,
Maybe, yes.
I'll turn it over to Pastor Rulin, but I just wanted to say, what is this definition of wrath? It's like I'm just going to go out and just murder all my. Is it wrath? Is it like a righteous anger to make sure that justice is served? That there's wrath in that, and it's what I would say.
Exactly right. Definitely is going to be forgiveness. I like this little statement is that people say, well, just have mercy, just have mercy. In other words, have mercy on his soul and, poor guy, just let him go. Mercy is not obstructing the law because God is a just God and God is a merciful God. So the justice in this situation we call wrath, a punishment, a discipline for wrongdoing. The mercy is I'm going to have a good spirit when I give this to him. I would go ahead and discipline my children growing up. I love them. I love my kids dearly, but they need to have discipline. But I wasn't a mean, horrible, terrible person and beat them. So with a merciful attitude, I said, we're going to get better for this. So for that man to say those words, Erica would give that forgiveness and be kind and all the other stuff. Well, a leader can also forgive and be kind, but the leader's job as a leader is to execute the laws of the land. The Bible does say, for whoso sheddeth man's blood, by his blood shall also be shed. Yeah. So capital punishment is a term we use, but that's a biblical term. If I maliciously go out there and take someone's life, biblically, my life should be stopped also. Why? Because I'll do it again. I'll do this, I'll do that. And then everyone thinks I can get away with it. So there has to be that line drawn, a deterrent. And that's what it is. For whoso sheddeth man's blood, by his blood also be shed. And so capital punishment is a biblical law.
We're going to be taking a break in about 20, 25 seconds, but I do want to talk about the big picture, how sometimes we say, God, use me any way you want me to, and I am there for you. Thy will be done. And that's what Charlie Kirk did. And sometimes maybe God has a different plan for you, and I'm wondering if that may be the case here. Those are very dangerous words, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. I think I have a better understanding of that now. Use me any way you want me to, even if that means perhaps, as some believe, to take, like Charlie Kirk's life for a greater cause. And we're going to talk about that and see if you think that is accurate or not. We'll be right back with Rebel Religion in the News. We say in the Lord's Prayer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. It will do the will of whatever you ask me to do. And I'm sure that Charlie Kirk had probably said that every day of his life. And it seems I don't know, I don't speak for God, but maybe the will of God was we're going to take your life in order to help bring more souls to Christ. That's what some people believe. I don't know. What do you think? We have Pastor Tim Rule of Pleasant Valley Baptist Church and Pastor Alfredo Romero of Rock of Life. Do you think that's what happened?
Well, when Jesus taught that truth about teaching how to pray, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Let him have all the glory inscribed. And then he said, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. So whatever it takes to have his kingdom to come, God, let it be so. And many people have already said that Charlie Kirk has reached more people in his death than maybe would in his entire lifetime. Mm-hmm. And that's true. But likewise, Jesus Christ reached people by his death. And by his resurrection has reached the entire world. And so it's true. When we give our lives to Jesus Christ, we are the tenants. He's the landlord. He can use them any way best fit. And he's all knowledgeable. So wonderful. Charlie Kirk said, thy will be done. And God says, I got it. And you can't beat it. Charlie Kirk's in heaven. That's great, all right? His wife is having an amazing influence now to show forgiveness. That's amazing, all right? So now our nation, I'll give you an illustration. Last Wednesday, I have a man in my church, his name is Mark, and he's been witnessing to his son, who's a 30-year-old man, and it's never gone anyplace. Well, the man went to a vigil, heard about Charlie Clark, saw some of the clips he said, called his dad, said, I want to hear about that man Jesus that man talked about. Mm-hmm. Mark drove to Gridley, led his son to the Lord, last night they got baptized, watch this, but his daughter also got saved, and another daughter got saved. So last night, unbeknownst, these three people walking to church said, yeah, I went to this vigil, heard about this guy, heard about his God, I want his God, received him, and then just last night, all three of them got baptized. You talk about exciting service for us. But that shows you the ripple effect of that of thy kingdom come. So three people right there by one vigil in Gridley It's amazing what's going on.
How do you convince the non-believer? We're not going to repeat some of the comments we've received from various people about our show. They're from those who are non-believers, and some of them are pretty vile.
Yeah.
But how do you convince somebody who just has this hatred attitude, hateful attitude? Is this a case where you just do not? When Jesus said, "Don't cast your pearls before swine," is this what he's talking about?
It's possible. Yesterday at the message at our church, I discussed that briefly, and I said, look, our job is to love people, love our enemies, and spread the gospel. That's my job, but it's very apparent that the majority of people will deny the Lord. Matter of fact, God uses the word, reprobate. It's what they are. There are people that will never come to the Lord, no matter how many times they hear about the truth. God gives them up to their vile passions and their evilness and their selfishness. And it's very difficult, but I know people, this is how I ended it. I know people that I never, ever would have thought they would have given their lives to the Lord. And they did, and I'm one of them. and I know people that were the nicest people in the world, kind, and they look at me and they say, I don't want your God. So, but my job is not to make that judgment or decision for them. I told everyone, I'm just the messenger of the good news. I spread the gospel. I tell them it's between them and God. Once you've given the food, it's up to them to pick up and eat.
Yep. When I look at some of these people that are really railing against all this happening, honor a man who didn't believe in gun control, things like that, and just by the little threads we see on the news, when you just look at those people, they're not happy people. They're very angry. They're upset. And here's what I always look at. If that's the way you choose, or if that's your religion, or if that's your mantra, what do you want to call it, I'd rather have mine. I'd rather have mine. I don't want to live that way. I don't live with hatred and bigotry in my heart. I don't want that at all. So.
No, and I agree with that. And I did a message once about these people that have it all together. They're happy with their views and their thoughts, and they may have a wife and children and a relationship and a good job and all that. But they have this hate in their heart, and they spew out vile things. But they say they're happy. I'm confident with who I am. I'm my own God. I'm good. But they're the ones that, and from experience talking to people, they're the ones at 2 o'clock in the morning are staring up the ceiling and going, there's got to be more than this.
Yep.
Pastor Tim Rule, Pleasant Valley Baptist Church. Let me ask you, on Sunday, I know your son Gabe, wonderful preacher. Is this something was this issue discussed in the pulpit, or was this just discussed in the foyer outside the primary service area? Was this something that you think was important to talk about during the course of a service?
My son and I we're so like-minded, and yet we're so totally gifted. And he realizes the more you get into situations like this, especially from a public pulpit, the more criticism you're going to get. And my son's man enough, he can take the criticism. But if you have brand new believers there that all of a sudden hear people railing against the church that you just started attending a week ago. So he is very, very astute about protecting his church. And I think he actually wrote it out word for word so he would not get away from the script. But he addressed the issue about a nation being divided, talking about forgiveness and about hate. He not preached the entire message on it, but he did recognize it, let everyone know, we know what happened. We saw the reaction. Here's who we are, and we're going to take the high road. And I thought that was very admirable for him.
The reaction. People say that we are in a terrible country that's just, we're a soulless country, that people who are celebrating the death of someone. And I wanted to ask you about this, and maybe I already did. I don't think I did, but I was reminded of what 1968 when Martin Luther King Jr. was shot and killed. There were people there that were, if there had been social media back then, would have been flooded with people saying, boy, he got what he deserved. I'm glad that happened. So I always, again, I know I've said this so many times, there's nothing new under the sun.
Nope.
This type of hatred has been around since Jesus' time and before then. We're not a worse off world than we were, or are we, than we were 2,000 years ago.
No, we're the same world, but we're the same people. And you think about Jesus Christ also. Charlie Kirk was a great guy, but Jesus was perfect. He was perfect. I mean, not one thing they ever did wrong. And they bludgeoned that man. They crucified that man. They spit on him as he was dying. And look what they did to him. And yet Jesus Christ showed us, embodied it, I forgive them. That's why he came. That's why I love when Erica said, I forgive him, as I know my husband would have done the same. And that's the people Charlie is trying to reach. Those people that are hardened by the philosophies that we have in this country because we're blinded. They are blinded.
It is so hard sometimes to watch the gentleness and the goodness of Charlie Kirk and realize that the gentleness and kindness and love of Jesus was 1,000 times more than that. And that yet, look how history played out.
I was basically in the middle of my message, and I just kind of really felt like I needed to say to people that this world is not ours. We're not citizens of this world. People that give their lives to Christ are citizens of His kingdom, of His heaven. We're children of God for those that give their lives to Christ. So there is a sadness that kind of I came to for the people that are filled with hate and division, and there was this feeling of we need to pray. We have to pray for people like this because you just never know who will turn their lives over to Christ. Some of the biggest testimonies I've ever heard were people that were so full of hate and crime and just horrible acts that found themselves on their knees before God, giving their lives over to Christ. And they have amazing testimonies. So I pray for the people that people would call the worst of the group, of whatever group. I'll pray for them because I have a sadness for them. It's like when Jesus wept.
Yep, no doubt. It's just a comment, too, is I just looked it up as far as the amount of people who came to the service or gathered for the service. There's only 2 people in the history of America that had a larger service, and both of those were assassinated. And so we look at John F. Kennedy and his service as far as the people that came out to show that. But it came over a tragedy. The other guy was Chester Harrison out of Chicago, and 100,000 near that. And so all 3. But you think about that is that our death speaks for us, and that Charlie Kirk, I don't know how long it's taken him to get that gathering, but his death now speaks so greatly. So let's look at what God is going to really try to do through this and wants to do through this. But again, it'll come down to every individual of us saying, yes, let's do something. After 9/11, happened on Tuesday, I believe it was, that Sunday, we had to set up 100 extra chairs.
Oh, yeah.
To accommodate the crowd, 100 extra chairs. The next Sunday, we had to set up 75 chairs. The third Sunday, about 50 chairs. And about the fourth Sunday, we were good to go. There were no more bombings. And I recognized that people did not want God. They just wanted God to fix it. Just fix it.
Interesting. I'm glad we have about a minute left. Was both of your churches more full than usual because of this?
Yes.
And we had a good crowd.
Yeah, we had one of our biggest crowds of the year, and then this past Sunday, oh no, it was kind of back to normal almost. And so I don't understand that really in a lot of different ways, and some ways I do. I just want to feel better. I'm going to go to church and get my fix of goodness, hope, and love. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm full now. I'm going to go back to normal. So that's sad.
Yeah. We're almost out of time, but I know that we do want to discuss maybe in a future show about some of the reaction. And I think we'll probably do that in another show. Because I think there's a lot of people who have a hard time understanding how a bullet could miss Donald Trump, but another bullet squarely hits Charlie Kirk. And it's the belief, I suppose, that is divine intervention. And there's almost no other way to explain it. Pastor Tim Rule of Pleasant Valley Baptist Church, thank you so much.
Great to be here. Always great to be here.
And thanks for joining us, everybody. And, of course, Pastor Alfredo Romero of Rock of Life Fellowship. Take good care. We'll talk to you next time. So long.